Abroad. I'm Nick in the States.
I'm Tim here joining Nick today, having a ball.
There we go. And today we're going to talk about something kind of cool, which is the Monoprice 15-watt tube amp with spring reverb, which is this bad boy here. Which means you're going to see a bit of my back today, but I've hopefully... we've also rigged up a highly sophisticated amp cam to be able to see the knobs that I turn here. Monoprice, if you're in the AV or IT stuff, they sell like cheap LCD wall mounts. They sell cables. They sell all sorts of stuff, and they're nice because they're 1/10 the price of when you go into Best Buy, because it's all profit for those guys. So they've been advertising coming soon. They did some low-end guitars, like Strats and Les Paul bolt neck copies. They've done a bunch of pedals that people like. Their tuner is actually, people really like their tuner because it's got a big-ass screen on it. And then they've been advertising these two tube amps, and they finally came in a couple weeks ago. So they've got a 5-watt, I think it's got an 8 or 10 inch speaker with no reverb, and they have this 12-watt with a Celestion 70/80 speaker, and a little real Accutronics spring reverb unit in it. The other really cool thing, and that when I talk to people about the amp at their site, it has two separate inputs, a 15-watt input and then a less than 1-watt input. That's lying to you because there's no way it's less than a watt. It's probably 3 or 4 watts, something like that. But it's a lot quieter than the 15.
Looks like it says 1, right?
Yeah, it says less than 1.
Less than 1.
Less than 1. Not quite 1. It lies. But it's okay. It's a real tone. It's not like a little thin. It's definitely got more balls on that than my Vox's less than 1 watt setting. So, anyway, it's a good amp. So from a straight up just clean tones, Tim's playing a Strat with a couple of, what pickups are those?
This is my baby, I guess. It's a 79. It's obviously been routed for humbuckers. These are Diamond gold tone. That was the bridge pickup. This is middle. Again, I've got my tone all the way up with the volume all the way up. Now we go about halfway up on the gain. So here's the one thing, and actually before we get to the gain, it has a real spring reverb. If you've ever seen the bottom of what a spring reverb looks like in the bottom of a Hot Rod Deluxe, for example, it's about this big. You know, it's a metal box, bottom of the case, that kind of keeps it away from the vibration, and it goes. This thing is like legitimately maybe this big. It's real small, and I think it's got a short spring length in a small box, and it jangles. And if you give me some clean, and I'll put it up at about 5, especially... Hear that? That's a rattly spring, folks.
a spring reverb. It's just really nice for me. I keep it like 3 or 4 under, and I've now found there's certain harmonic spots on the guitar that like you hit it and it does that. Just that one note happens to make this thing really, really just crackle. It just sounds like that, like those fireworks.
Yeah.
When they go, it has that same kind of thing. And I think it's just A, how it's put, B, it's not the best spring reverb. It's not even the best reverb. And in hindsight, I would say that I can't recommend the amp personally on the reverb itself, especially if you've played something with a good reverb.
Unless that's some type of, it's not supposed to be doing that.
It could be something to do with mine. And when I first bought it, I didn't notice it as much, but now, once again, I've played it a ton since then. So it's a little weird. Give that a little bit more play right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So now if you do this off.
It almost is tremolo-y.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of vibrato.
Oh, here we go. You can hear it. And then if you push it, hold on. Okay, now push it. It really gets that.
That's a fail to me.
Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. The last spaceship is away.
Again, all things being opinions. I just can't.
So now that we've had a little bit of play, right? This is from a specs. It's got 312 AX7s in the preamp. It has 2 EL84s in the power amp tubes. The Accutronic spring reverb. It's got a Celestion 7080 12-inch speaker. On the website, when you buy it, it says that it has a red Truvox 1215 Celestion. It doesn't. But the magnets look identical, and I don't know if there's a big difference between the two. But it goes for $229 plus shipping. And Monoprice is famous for every 2 or 3 weeks they have a 10% off everything on the site sale. There's actually a 15% off everything on the site sale recently. So you're getting it for about $200 plus shipping. Great return policy, all that kind of stuff. So if you like the clean sounds and you have a reasonably good reverb pedal, then that alone kind of gets you in the ballpark to talk. But now if we go and push it a little bit.
shines in that department. That's a nice drive.
And there's really two gears to the drive too. There's like, I'm driven, and then there's this hair that starts to come out when you get somewhere around 7 with this guitar, 7 or 8, or maybe 6 or 7, and there's just this edge that's really kind of.
They should just lose the reverb, sell it for less.
I'm gonna lose the reverb.
Yeah, and then just get a pedal.
And then you could have 2 tone knobs plus a middle treble and bass.
Yeah, that's not making a lot
from
of
a
sense.
controls. It's a good point. Top controls. You got a reverb knob. There's no standby. It's just an on-off. Reverb, a tone, a volume, and then also a bass, mid, and treble, and then the gain on there. And then, like we said before, there's 2 inputs. So, reverb's a fail in my book. Maybe mine's a bad one. I work with a guy at work.
It's a shame. If they could get that together, it'd be
awesome.
Man.
But for $200, a Hall of Fame reverb, the mini one is $100. That's a $300 amp, and that it does bring it into some higher end stuff. So consider that anyway.
No, that was all in the 15 watt.
So that's the 15 watt. What I love about it though is watch this. I'm gonna pop it into the low watt. I'm gonna raise the volume up commensurately.
Put some hair.
Is that it still maintains the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we'll swap out guitars now too.
Okay.
We'll swap out guitars in one sec, but it still maintains the same character on the 1 watt and the 15. There's some amps that I have an Ibanez Tube Screamer 15 watt amp, and on the half power setting, it's darker, it's a little different, it's kind of a different beast. Same with the Bagheera BC30, where this I felt it was still very much similar, like it was speaking the same language, it was speaking the same flavors.
Another good thing about it is it seems as if it does clean as well as it does dirty.
Yeah.
Which is nice consistency. That reverb's god awful, I have to admit. Maybe it's just
maybe I got a lemon. Maybe it bounced around and isn't in a good.
It could be. Well, I mean, we're not amp technicians, but I have ears, and that's just something wrong there.
Ain't good.
But to look at it, it's got a great creamy, it's attractive.
They skipped the logo, which I think is brilliant. If your name is Monoprice and you're known for HDMI cables, like what Monoprice? It just says it's got a Celestion in it.
It seems like a cross between a Blues Junior and like a what is it? What do they call
a Pro
this
Junior?
style? This grill.
The TV face.
Yeah,
or whatever.
TV face. Yeah, like maybe something Gretschy.
Yep. But I like it because it's not like a Fender clean. It's a little bit more British, it seems like, from a tone. Mm-hmm. But it still chimes. It's got the ring. It's Voxy, without being the treble side of Vox. Like sometimes I find Vox gets a little too jangly, and it's the guitar too. But
for a low priced amp, it's doing a lot of things good.
And these speakers is
another for reverb.
Yeah, I know, right? These speakers, the 7080s, are famous for taking like a month to break in. This has had about 10 days of pretty consistent play, but it's still missing some bottom end to it.
There are a lot of dudes out there who really don't give a crap about reverb. I'm just kind of a bit of a whore when
if it's got it, it should do it well.
Yeah.
I hate to have a knob. We've both owned Superchamp XDs, and we both ignored the entire modeling side of it.
Yeah.
And it still bothers you, like, just cut it out. I don't want a knob.
Exactly. I'm not a fan of superfluous thing, You don't want it.
You don't need unnecessary stuff like that.
I don't want a bell and a whistle that I'm not going to use,
Right. And so it shows its price range there. But here, let's swap this guy in, because not everybody has a DeArmond equipped Strat at home that they're worried about the tone of.
What do we have here? Telly. Butterscotch.
American Vintage reissue Hot Rod Telly in Butterscotch. We're going to tune right now.
bridge action. Try that.
Can I throw this on here?
Yeah.
Let's just see what this does. That might be a little too much.
Yeah, one
You
of
get
the
the point?
But yeah, one of the key things is we're going the reverb into the front end of the amp. It also does have an effect send and return, and it's foot switch compatible. Ironically, just for the reverb, so you can turn the reverb on and off or shoot it with a foot switch. It also from the back, turn around for a sec. It's got a nice heavy duty metal grade, non-detachable power cord. There's your send and return, and there's your stuff. So basic, kind of simple.
You
See
can
the
drive.
lift?
You can drive another speaker.
You can drive an external cab. And what I've found is that out of the box, given it's still in its first month, this guy doesn't have the biggest low end, but running it out into a Celestion Vintage V30 equipped cab. When you come into this external cab, which is a Harley Benton, it's a low price cab, $110 or something shipped, but it's got it's a 1x12 with a Celestion Vintage 30 in it. The amp comes alive even more. It just adds a ton more bottom end, and it's a fuller sound than the 7080 in here. I've been assured they break in. They will sound better and bigger, so don't be disheartened out of the box. So either A, the speaker will break in and get there, or B, put a Celestion Vintage 30 in it and replace it later, and it might even give you a great little, gig and amp, whether you're going to play harp through it or even blues guitar or whatever. I think it's a great bring to a gig, throw down. You can buy two of them, have a spare right there. Just have a good reverb pedal.
Again, like most of Nick's videos, it all comes down to, well, for that price, how can you argue? He's managed to find a lot of these, sleeper companies where you're getting pretty decent stuff for a good price point.
Yeah, and the thing is just to remember, and what I try to show is warts and all, right? Like, it's not perfect. The reverb, especially in at least this one, sounds like crap half the time, 3/4 of the time. And if you have a good reverb pedal, then maybe it's not a big deal. But I think a lot of people, my mindset was, well, if they've got a 5, which is cool, but they have 15 with a spring reverb, I'm buying the 15 with a spring reverb.
Personally, I probably would not buy this amp, but I just got a Princeton, so I'm like, no, I'm done with amps. But if you're a guy who has multiple amps, or is, bringing them to and from like a rehearsal spot, and you just want something that can stay in one place, and this wasn't a bad. I don't think it's a bad option.
If your only amp is a Marshall JCM 900, where you got the big, hairy, scary, this is a really good, clean. It still gets dirty. It's a nice amp too. Like if you're gonna go jam at someone's house.
Yeah,
you bring small list and a guitar, pop down, and you can get enough to play and have a lot of good time with. Open mic kind of deal.
I would imagine the 1 watt feature's good for sleeping children and not pissing off wives and neighbors.
Exactly.
Which I can attest to. So
anywho, that's Monoprice 15 watt tube amp with spring reverb. It's as promised, the bigger playthrough and demo, a couple different guitar tones through it. The good, the bad, the ugly. For the price, it's really not a bad amp, and I think for people's first tube amp,
which a lot of what
Yeah, I'm
happened.
forgetting that too. Like I'm looking at it from a perspective of someone who either owns a lot of amps or is like a, very involved gigging musician. To someone who's looking to break into tubes, this could probably be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't care about the reverb or you have a pedal. That's something to think about too.
Yeah, and if it's your first, if it's your first foray this way, especially people that are coming from the island of modeling amps and stuff, like, it's a different thing. It's a whole different beast in and unto itself to play with and have fun with, and for the money, it's really not a bad deal.
And you don't have to deal with Monoprice being
Plastered
plastered across the front. People going, oh, what's
Yeah.
a Monoprice?
How many people have you seen with Epiphone Valve Juniors that have had the Epiphone, they strip the Epiphone label off, or
People would probably look at
or
that.
Jet City.
and say,
Danny,
oh,
I'm talking about you ripping off the Jet City old-fashioned logo, so it was just anonymous, powered by Soldano.
But people see, Celestian in there, and they look at that, and it's got the old school vibe. She's pretty. I'll give her that much. I think it's maybe I'm turning around on it, falling in love. No,
She's a good little amp. If you're missing something in this space, or you're looking for something in this, it's worth thinking about. I think a good competitor for it would be, it's weird, right? Because it's 15 watts. So Vox has the AC4 little combos that sometimes you can find with a 12-inch, but they're using an 8 or 10-inch speaker. So you're down a little bit there, and they're down a lot on the wattage. So they go up, you're gonna buy what, a Blues Junior, which will cost.
Yeah, that's
Huge
again.
money elsewhere.
We're getting back into the we keep repeating the same thing, but that's very Blues Junior-y minus the reverb issue. It's half the price.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or more.
I think Blues Juniors are now over $5.
They're over 5 new and used. They're still 300,
And you have the
350, 400.
exact same specs with the option to go down to one watt.
And I feel like, personally, I like the driven tone better out of this than a Blues Junior. But I'm a guy who doesn't like, even my Hot Rod Deluxe and the Blues Junior that I had, I never enjoyed the drive tones out of that. I did that with pedals because it sounded...
The Blues
it
Junior
handles.
3, which I had for a while, I think is improved.
Is it?
The drive.
I had the
The
first
drive
or
was
second.
pretty nasty, actually. I liked
Cool.
it. But, if you don't want to be dropping between 500 and 600 with tax, this might be something to think about.
Sweet.
Check it out and draw your own conclusions.
Exactly. Comment below. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. If you like these videos, if you like the double take format, let us know. We have both had to promise unnatural acts to our wives and families to get the time when we start doing these. And with that, I bid you adieu. I've been Nick in the States.
Tim in the States.
And obviously we have issues. Take care, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next time.